Cruise news time. Well, there's a cruise boycott afoot. What? Wait. Why? Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Lido Loca. I'm your host, Tony, here with the latest cruise news updates. Well, first, a big thanks to everybody that sent out well wishes yesterday. I'm feeling a lot better. I would say I'm about 80%. It definitely was a stomach bug. I've had that before in my life, one of those 24-hour stomach bugs where you got all kinds of problems, and then eventually your fever breaks and everything's better and you don't hurt anymore. That's where I'm at right now. I continue to hydrate, continue to feel better, and I feel 100% better than I did yesterday. So thanks for all of the well wishes. The irony of it is I was supposed to get my first vaccination shot yesterday, and I was supposed to go to the doctor today, and both of those things had to be rearranged because you can't really be going to get vaccinated when you're kind of sick, and you really shouldn't go to the doctor when you're kind of sick. So a weird irony, two things that we'd been waiting for with bated breath put off because of the stomach bug. It's weird. So thank you for that. A couple housekeeping tips. If you desire to book one of these cruises on Royal Caribbean or Celebrity Cruises from the Bahamas, bookings open for the Royal Caribbean cruises on the 24th. I think at midnight, you'll be able to book those cruises online. So if that's something you're interested in, pay attention. And then Celebrity Cruises from St. Martin, those will open up on the 25th. So I just want to put those dates out there to keep you in mind. And quickly, before we jump into today's conversation, if you enjoy talking cruising, staying up with everything that's going on in that cruise life, please consider subscribing to this YouTube channel with the notification bell on. That way you don't miss out on any of these episodes. Thanks in advance. Again, another show today about Royal Caribbean, really, because there is a movement afoot to boycott cruising, to boycott Royal Caribbean specifically. Now, look, I think this is a very clickable, get some readership type headline, and it's interesting to me that it's coming from Newsweek because to me this is an interesting story, but not a super strong story. But here's the headline. Royal Caribbean faces boycott calls as only vaccinated adults allowed on cruise ships. So if you take that title at face value, which I know from doing YouTube, that happens a lot. People will just read the title or they'll look at the thumbnail and then they'll start commenting without ever digging into the content, without ever trying to understand what I'm saying or what the author's saying. So based on that headline alone, if that's all that you read and you didn't know anything else about cruising, you'd be like, wow, Royal Caribbean is requiring vaccine for all cruises? I didn't realize that. And well, it's just not true. Currently, Royal Caribbean cruising in Singapore with no vaccines. The latest cruises to be announced, the ones in the Bahamas, the ones in Israel, do require a vaccine. But the CEO of Royal Caribbean said very clearly just a few days ago that the vaccine requirement would be determined on a location-by-location basis, that there's been no decision made for cruising out of the U.S. whether or not to require a vaccine. But now you have this headline from a major publication that will probably be picked up and ran with that's saying that there's a boycott afoot against Royal Caribbean. I'm just here to throw out some actual facts. The fact is Royal Caribbean, Norwegian Cruise Line, and Carnival Cruise Line, the big three, have not weighed in yet whether or not there will be a vaccine mandate in the United States. It's so interesting to me, the people that are starting to rumble, these are typically the people that say it doesn't matter what's happening in other places, we only care what's happening in the U.S., but to build the case that vaccine mandates will happen in the U.S., now you have to look at what's happening somewhere else and saying, well, if it's going to happen in the Bahamas, it's going to happen here. That's a bit of irony to me. So let me say it a second time. There is no vaccine mandate for cruising in the United States. It has not been determined yet. And trust me, the cruise lines are on the front end of this. Many of the cruise lines recently sending out surveys trying to gauge where people are in relation to the health protocols. Now, the article on Newsweek cites a tweet that got 7,200 likes, and I guess that's enough likes to make it a thing. Well, we got this poll that we ran a couple weeks ago on the community tab here on YouTube for the Lido Loca channel, and 6,500 people responded, and overwhelmingly 63% said that they think there should be a vaccine mandate. So the interesting thing to me is, I guess it doesn't really matter whether this is a story or not a story. The thing that's frustrating to me is just how uptight we get before we even know the truth of a thing. Like, everybody is uptight over speculation. The time to get uptight whether there's a vaccine mandate on cruises in the US is when there is a vaccine mandate on cruises in the US. Look, for me, at least from my perspective, I just want cruising to start again. And if cruising starts in a way that I cannot go cruising, I'm not going to throw a big fit about it. I'm just going to be excited that cruising starts again. When it came out that heavy people, that obese people were more likely to get sick from the coronavirus, where most of the coronavirus deaths beyond elderly people were people that were obese, and somebody asked me, 3 or 4 times in the comments, well, if it comes out that you can't cruise because you're a fat person, what do you think about that? If that's what it is, then that's what it is. I'm not going to throw a fit about it. If there is a vaccine mandate when cruising restarts in the United States, I don't think it's going to be forever. And to me, if you are a loyal cruiser or loyal to that cruise life, you'll do whatever it takes to support the restart of cruising. And look, that might be too idealistic. That might be too Pollyannic. That might be too utopian, whatever you want to say. But to me, that's how we move forward. We find common ground, which we can move forward on, instead of everybody being so, entitled to what their thing is. I'm sorry to be so ranty, but this headline frustrates the crap out of me because it's just keying in on the underlying division that we all know exists in this country. A lot of it exists on a political level. That's spilled over into questions about health and safety. And so you've got this Newsweek article capitalizing on that disdain between peoples. And it's, keep my cruising out of it. I wish we could elevate cruising beyond the political. It doesn't seem like we're able to do that. But yeah, so here we go. Something else to fight about. Will there be a boycott of cruising? All the polling, all the data that I've looked at is there are more people that are pro-vaccination than anti-vaccination. So I think the cruise lines will work the math on it and say, will it still be profitable if we lose X amount of people because of these policies? Do we need these policies more than we need those people? That's the way business works. It's all about math sometimes. And so I think that if those numbers work out, then I don't think a boycott will matter. If I woke up tomorrow and there was something that was going to keep me from cruising, some rule that made it where I couldn't cruise because of my beliefs or who I am, I would be like, okay, I still want cruising to restart because there are a lot of people that are dependent on that cruise life. I said in the story yesterday that cruising is essentially unimportant at a high level, but I also said in that story that cruising is super important on some level, and it's the people that cruising is super important to for their livelihoods, for feeding their family, for living their life. Those are the people that really we should be keeping in mind, in my opinion, at this time, and whatever it takes to get those people back to work, whether it means I can cruise or not, I think that is more important than me cruising. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out, but it really is frustrating to me that I think it's going to turn into a circus as cruising returns to the United States, where people are going to take the argument of the day and overlay it into that cruising space. And look, I know it sells papers, it gets clicks, all that kind of stuff. And it's not lost on me that I am being a little critical on this Newsweek headline for trying to get the click, when in reality I am in the get the click business. One of the things when you do YouTube is that you need to have a title and a thumbnail that encourages people to click it. I work really hard to not be deceptive, but to write titles and make thumbnails that will get people to click it. The truest form of competition that exists on YouTube is the competition between titles and thumbnails. All content creators out there work really hard putting together content which we want other people to see. That's one of the main motivations for people to make content, is so that other people will see it. And so in the YouTube landscape, there is a competition between the title and the thumbnail. So while I understand the whole desire to get people to click, I think there is a line. And to me, this title crosses the line when it suggests that only vaccinated people can cruise on Royal, when it wouldn't take much checking to understand that that's not true. And so I just wanted to say that because you guys should understand at this point that I'm in the get the click business also. And so I am not, I'm very critical on myself, right? Just a harsh reality for content creators. Sometimes your success, your ability to get your message out really hinges on how well you manage the way that you compete with your thumbnail and your headline. So I just want to say that there's some days I do better than others. Some days I feel, after the video's out and people start responding to it, it's like, oh, maybe that was more clicky than it should have been. But I really do try to strike that balance. But I'm not perfect. But some headlines are really over the top, and I feel like this Newsweek one was. Are we really talking about a cruise boycott already? That's the question I'll pass to you guys. Cruise boycott, will it make a difference? Cruise boycott, will you boycott cruising because of vaccination? Leave a comment below, and we'll see how that goes. Thanks so much for watching the show today. Hit that like button. Check out this video here. Tony with Lido Loca, and until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye.